Okay, great. We're recording now. So again, I'm Phil Smith. I'm a soil scientist with the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service in Salinas, California. I do uh, soil soil survey information. I work with most of our internal customers and external customers. Work with landowners, farmers, producers, really anyone with a soils concern that through my job I can help, and also enjoy doing these educational outreach things like Envirothon and work with colleges and universities too. So anyway, I'm excited to be here today and share some soils information with you all, and that's who I am. So who else do we have here on the call? Well, Steve, I see your video on, so let's just start with you.
I teach AP Environmental Science at Palisades Charter High School. I'm one of the team facilitators, coaches.
Thank you. Okay. So, Elizabeth.
Hi everyone. I'm a senior in Envirothon at Granada Hills Charter High School in LA.
Okay, thank you. Ella.
Hi, I'm Ella. I'm a junior at Pali High and also on Envirothon.
Okay, Lauren.
I'm a junior in Envirothon at Pioneer High School in San Jose.
Okay. Nancy.
Hi, I'm with the Resource Conservation District Santa Monica Mountains and a steering committee member with Envirothon.
And we have Samuel.
Hi, I'm a senior at Palisades Charter High School.
Okay. All right, great. We got some seniors here. Okay, well that's good. I wanted to share some more news with seniors in a bit. I see Shawn. Shawn has joined the Envirothon webinar for soils today. Shawn, do you want to introduce yourself? We were just doing introductions, and we're being recorded for the presentation. So,
hey everyone, I'm Shawn. I'm a senior at Palisades Charter High, and I'm on one of the Envirothon teams for Pali.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you, Shawn, for joining us today. I'm going to talk about, I guess there's three things I want to share with you all today, and hope this all helps with the Envirothon as you prepare for that. First of all, most of the study material that you need to study for the Envirothon later this month has been sent out in an email. If you could access those videos and web resources, a lot of really good videos are available on YouTube that talk about soil properties and a lot of the soil stuff that you will need to understand for the Envirothon test and knowing soils. Today I'm going to talk about web soil survey. That's probably the one central theme I'll talk about today is how you can use web soil survey to understand the geography of soils, the properties of soils, soil interpretations, land use, just kind of a general introduction to the web soil survey and soil web, or just soil survey and how you can access it online. I also want to show some beautiful soil photos that John Kelly, a retired soil scientist from USDA, has shared with me. It's online; everyone can access it. But part of one thing about soils is they're varied and many different properties. you have soils that are shallow to bedrock. You've got soils that are very deep to bedrock, soils with a high water table, soils that are clayey, soils that are sandy, silty, gravelly, stony, bouldery. You have land that's steep, like the side of a mountain. You've got swamps that are flat and enclosed depressions. So soils are all across the landscape in a variety of a huge variety of locations and their properties. What the soil looks like and how it can be managed is really correlated to where it is on the landscape and other things like the climate, the parent material, the biology of the land, the five soil forming factors, and steepness of the slope. These things affect how a soil develops. So I'll share that with y'all today. And let me ask you guys, you seniors, are you? So I know we probably have 20 or 30 students who will be participating in the Envirothon, but we only have a handful here today in this presentation, and hopefully everyone can watch this online later because it's being recorded. But the people who are here today, do you all have a special interest in soils? I mean, is there something about soils that I mean, are you more drawn to soils in the Envirothon than maybe some of the other things that the Envirothon covers, like forestry and wildlife and aquatics? If you do, just I'd like to hear you say so, and tell me why, please. Anybody? Okay.
Well, I'll tell you something.
Okay.
I'm not a contestant, obviously, but I'm really interested in soil. And the last few years, it's become exceedingly interesting to me because of the organisms that are in the soil. So I want to learn a lot more about mycorrhizae and the kinds of organisms that are in the soil and how it supports life on Earth and us as well.
Yes.
If I could, I'd like to add that, I've been doing Envirothon for a little bit. I've had a bunch of students, and it's interesting for me, like every year I'm introducing these things to a whole variety of kids. And then I'll get like some kids who's just like, like, what the hell? We don't think about soil a whole lot. It's just like dirt. But then there's some kids, it just connects with them, and it's like the most amazing thing in the world. And they go off to college, major in that kind of stuff. Went on, and they never thought about it before. And it's through their exposure to Envirothon that they just start like kind of understanding about, climate biology, topography, and how all those things kind of interact. And I kind of find it interesting. I can never predict who it's going to kind of connect with, and then there you go. So I enjoy that part of it.
That's great, Steve. That what you said there. A lot of people don't really recognize soil as a natural resources. We walk over it all the time, and we see the surface. If we're lucky to see the surface of the soil, usually there's something on top of it, either grass or leaves or pavement. So most of the time we don't even see the surface of the soil. But if you can look below the surface of the soil, it's an amazing world. So I wanted to share with you all some photos from John Kelly's photo collection, just so you can see the diversity of the soils. I mean, not only we're going to be looking at some beautiful photos, but you can see some of the soil properties that are discussed in the study material. You can see in the photo, like, a lot of gravel, a lot of stones. You can see these color patterns that indicate high water table. You can see a lot of stuff in these photos, and these photos are just so valuable as a teaching tool. But the colors just kind of grab your attention. Well, thank you for sharing that, Steve. Anyone else want to say why they're interested in soils? Okay, probably not. I'm not gonna make you guys talk. Anyway, you may see me looking up on the screen like that sometimes. I've got 3 monitors here, so I'll be looking to the left, looking to the right, just looking at these monitors. I'm not making eye contact all the time. So I just wanted to let you know that. Now I want you to see behind me here. This is if anyone wants to go to college and study soils, we have some universities in the state that have good soil science programs. I know a lot of you are from down in Southern California. UC Riverside has a well-known soil science department. UC Davis, not every school has a soil science department. It's kind of rare. It seems to be getting more rare as time goes on. But in the background, that's the campus of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And you'll see, if I can just stand out of the way here, you see all these students. Those are students gathering around a soil pit, and they are going into that soil pit and describing the soil. And that activity, that's called soil judging. So you can actually get in the ground and see the soil, get your hands dirty, and really learn about soil by getting close to it. Looks like we have Shawn is coming back in. Okay. Well, let me introduce you to. Going to share my screen. I'll introduce you to John Kelly's photo collection. Okay, can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Wonderful. So this is John Kelly's soils photo collection. And, it's online. You can access this website yourself and go to this webpage anytime. It's not something that I have here that you can't access yourself. It's online. But, every landscape has its own collection of soils. This is like a swampy area here, so you'd have a wet soil here. There are different soils on top of these mountains up here. These would be forested soils. This is like a swamp down in North Carolina. The soil here would have different properties than the soil in the desert. If I'm not mistaken, okay, this is the United Arab Emirates. John and some other scientists went over there and did some work for them. Here's a desert, sand dunes, different types of soil. That's UAE. And I'm just going through these landscape photos. When you see a different landscape, you can tell that there's probably different soils on these landscapes. Look at this steep hill over here. So, the soil forming factors, the relief on this hill, the steep slope. Here is, this is nearly level, probably wet. Here we have a field that looks like it has a slope on it. It's probably better drained than this, what looks like a marshy swamp right here. And John has these notes here. This is the soilscape of the Tonka series. And what that means, the Tonka series, that is a certain type of soil. It's a type of soil that has a certain range of characteristics that make it what it is. So we're going through these. I'm probably scrolling too fast here, but you know, this is nature. This is the natural world, and these are the landscapes the different landscapes that soils form on. Okay, here's Alaska. You know, there are a lot of organic soils in Alaska. The climate, the moisture, the cold weather, you know, it lends itself towards the preservation of organic matter. I'm not sure what soil is here, but just in general, you'll have a lot of organic soils in these cooler, wet climates. Here's an agricultural landscape, Western Kentucky. There's a lot of silt in these soils. It says rolling lush hills of Western Kentucky. This is wind-blown deposits. Good agricultural landscape. There's a lot of good photos here. But in all kinds of ecosystems, all kinds of environments out on the landscape, you'll see you wouldn't expect the soils in this area to be similar to a soil on a landscape that looks like this. Look at this. That looks kind of like yeah, Dare County, North Carolina. I'm not sure where that is, but you know, this is a higher landscape over here. Maybe this may be on the Outer Banks. It looks like I see the ocean in the background, and probably a sand ridge where these homes are built, and probably a wetter soil here. I don't know that what that is, but we could look that up. The Carteret soils, we can find out more information about that. Another wet landscape. Peanut field. Wyoming landscape. Well, I thought we'd be getting to some soil pictures here, but I don't want to go too fast through this. But all these different landscapes have different kinds of soil, and even in this one picture, there's various kinds of soil. You know, on these steeper slopes. You know, these are steeper slopes. They're probably thinner. You don't have to dig as deep to get to bedrock. There's probably boulders and stones out here. Not so here. Obviously, this has been farmed. Wyoming. Okay, let me see what I can find. I want to get to the soil photos. Okay. Ooh, look here. Soils of China. Soils of Great Britain. Whoa. Let's look at this. This album here. I had no idea he had this many photos. But as you can see, soils have not all. I mean, soils are different. There's a variety of looks, a variety of properties, and in the, as I was saying earlier, depending on where you are in the world, where are you on the landscape, the parent material, the relief, the climate, the biology of the area, what's growing there, the conifer forest or a grassland or a deciduous forest. And as time goes on, soils develop into what they are. I guess just to touch on some key points, when you're looking at a soil, what can you tell about a soil? Well, this is probably I'm not sure where this is. Aberdeen series. This is probably somewhere in the Midwest. You can see this. Well, there's a horizon right here. The darker the horizon, these are layers of the soil where there's an accumulation of organic matter. And I don't want to go too deep into what these letters mean over here, but usually we will call the topsoil will be the A horizon, and then the subsoil will usually be a B horizon, and then depending on what characteristics and properties are there, if there's a clay accumulation, we put this little T on there, but I don't want to get too deep into that. I really just want to show you some pictures of soils. Wow, look at this. This is certainly two different parent materials. Now, when I say parent material, what I'm talking about is this is a deposition of some sediment of something, and this is probably from a different deposition of a parent material. So they have different looks to them. And I'm just looking at soils that I've really, I'm looking at it with you in real time. I don't know, I haven't looked into what this soil is specifically. But some soils are shallow to rock, and when you see, well, this right here means this is the underlying material of the soil. This is where the bedrock is breaking down and becoming soil. Wow, look at this. Look at this beautiful soil here. Looks kind of sandy down here. Yeah, this may be a spodosol. This is probably a soil from the Midwest. But in each of these photos, you see different colors. Look at this color pattern here. This would tell you something about, the water table or the permeability, or, I see like some platy structure in here. That's probably a low permeability horizon. And this X means it's kind of, there's like some cementation there. This right here is going to perch water. Water will not infiltrate so well through this profile because it's impeded by this horizon here that is restrictive to water flow. But when we're walking around on top of the ground, we're lucky to just see the topsoil if we're lucky. But most of the time there's grass there or pavement or something else. But we seldom see the soil profile unless you're fortunate enough to see a pit in the ground excavated, and you can get in there and see what all's going on. Wow, look at this. Well, this right here really stands out. I can tell this is a sandy material up here. It looks pretty sandy. This would be probably in the coastal plain of the southeastern United States. That's what it looks like. And here you have a clay increase. But I really wish I could take you all to a soil pit and look at soils with you together in the field. But this is the best we can do for right now. Look at that. This is probably in the tropics somewhere, probably in Oxysol. I think that's, not sure where this is, but you see this is quite a different looking soil with different looking properties than that soil. Look at that. A lot of different depositions. Well, I'm not going to go on through this. I just wanted to share this with you. John has some really nice photos over a 35-year or 40-year career. I can't remember. He told me he took a lot of these photos over the course of his career, and other people did too. Most of these were taken in the course of our soil survey work. Look here, guys. This here just really stands out. And in the videos that you have to study for the exams, one thing that we talk about is soil structure. And you guys see these. You see the pattern here. Well, these are called. This is prismatic structure, and you can. This is just. Well, this is a really good example of it. How the structure is just popping out of the soil pit. And you know, when each of these is called like a ped, this would be like a prismatic ped. And what is a ped? A ped is like a basic unit of the soil as it's formed as an aggregate, I guess you could say. Not everything is prismatic. Sometimes things are kind of blocky. Here's a prismatic structure. This looks different. This is quite bigger. You see the little blockiness here. This right here would be called like a blocky structure. These kind of color patterns are usually the result of water tables. This is a wet soil. This is a good example of a wet soil. And we'll have a webinar next week, and Caitlin Valverde may talk about this in her webinar about soil color. But these gray colors are the result of anaerobic conditions because the soil is saturated with water, and during anaerobic conditions, you know, the microbes in the soil will reduce any iron that's in the soil, and that's why you see here orange areas are areas where iron has been concentrated, but usually when you see it gray, it's been removed. Anyway, just take a note of this this website if you want to come back and look at that. I probably shouldn't spend more time on it, but this is just to get your interest going, seeing all these beautiful colors. These are wet soils, guys. These are, when you see gray like that and you see all these different orange and red color patterns like this, it indicates a high water table. And that's, when we describe the soil, we're looking at color, we're looking at gravel content, we're looking at structure. Oh, this is excellent looking. This is easy to see. Some of these soils you can't really see much structure, but look at this. You see how this is just kind of smooth and plain, not really expressing structure as kind of probably what we call massive or structureless massive soil. But here you see all the little aggregates in here. Well, this is like a subangular blocky structure. That's what this is. And you can see how this looks different than that prismatic structure we saw in the photo earlier when I was pointing that out. Gravel content, what do soils, one thing that soils do for supporting plants is they store water. It doesn't rain every day. So between the times that water is applied to the ground through irrigation or through precipitation, there may be many days, several days of no water, going to the plant. Well, the soil stores the water, and if you got a lot of rocks in your soil, rocks don't hold any water, so you're losing available water holding capacity when you have so many rocks in the soil. And usually, a sandy soil doesn't, relatively speaking, a sandier soil doesn't hold as much water as a soil that has more clay and more silt, because sand is just large particle size. It doesn't have the amount of pore space and area to store water. Here's a soil that's here you got this depth of bedrock. Soils are not very deep to bedrock. Well, they have less available water holding capacity, and trees can only root so deep. So the deeper the soil, generally, the better it is for supporting plants. Well, let's talk about web soil survey now. And I think we said we were going to 2:30. I can go longer. I'm probably not managing our time here so well, but there will be like some questions on the test about web soil survey. So what is this? This is a way for you to access soils information. You can go to any address. Steve, what's the address of your school?
The 15777 Bowdoin, Bowdoin Street.
OWD.
OIN. Street.
Okay.
You need the city?
Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it.
There you go.
Okay. Wow, look at this. Okay, so you can go to different locations, anywhere in the country, and see what kind of soils are in your area. And have you all used this? I think we talked about this last year, but I'm going to identify an area of interest. Okay, so here's your school. Well, let's see what's going on up here in the mountains. Let's just draw an area of interest. And this will come back with a map of the soils. Okay, just disregard that. Okay. All right. So, so this is a soil map, and here are the kinds of soils that are mapped there. Urban land, that means, you know, obviously this land has been disturbed. It's probably been moved around with a bulldozer. It's probably, well, obviously it's got pavement and buildings on it. So you're not going to have a lot of
unknown caller.
Yeah.
Call from Marianne.
Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on there.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, well, let's look at this soil right here. Okay. So each one of these, this is called this is a soil map unit. This is a delineation of a soil map unit. And you can click on it, and then you can get information. You know, what is here? You know, the landform, it's on hill slopes. Where is it out on the hill slope? The depth of the soil profile. We were just looking at soil profiles. So the A horizon, which is generally the topsoil, is a Channery loam. That means it's got, you know, it's the texture is got a, you know, so much sand, silt, and clay. It's kind of in the middle of the textural triangle. It's got rock fragments in it, but here you can say, well, here's bedrock at only 12 inches. So using this tool online, you guys can look online and see what kinds of soil are mapped anywhere in the country. This covers most of the country. There are some areas where the mapping hasn't been done yet, but you can see, you know, what that soil looks like. It's only 12 inches of soil material before you hit a bedrock-like material. And the slope is steep, 30 to 75%. That may not mean much to you. You're kind of new to this, but we measure the steepness of slopes in percentage. We look through an instrument called a clinometer, and that will, you know, the steeper the slope, the higher the number here. The depth of rock, is it well drained? Yeah, these are well drained soils. A lot of runoff. That's mainly with two factors. Mainly, you know, you're not going to have a whole lot of water when we get tons of rain. You know, areas like this can have mudslides. That's because they just can't take in all the water. You can't take in water when you're only, you know, 14 inches of bedrock. There's not enough soil material to absorb all that water, and also you know, the steepness of the slope. You just have a lot of that water is running off. It's not much is going into the ground. Well, here's another soil. In these soils, you know, like here, you got two soils that are the major components of the map unit. This one, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but this one and that the Mipolamo and the Topanga. So you have really like two different kinds of soil that are making up this map unit. This one's a little bit deeper. A little bit, not much. You only go to 18 inches. let's go look at a different area. I wanted to show you what's kind of close to your school, but we may not have enough diversity of the soil there. Okay, well, let's we can go anywhere in the country. Is there who else has got a school here? Can you tell me where another school is? We'll see what's near someone else's school. Any volunteers?
What about Pioneer High School up in San Jose area?
Okay.
I don't have the address, but you could probably pick Santa Clara area.
Okay. So you can type in an address. There's various ways of doing this. You can type in an address. You can come here and pick a state. We just go to Santa Clara County. Where's Santa Clara County at? Here we go. And it'll take you right to it. All right, so this is, a lot of urban land here. Let's just I'm not sure. I think there's one of you guys your school is somewhere around here.
Just so the kids know, this is up near the southern part of San Francisco Bay.
All right, so you can zoom in. You can see there's some hilly landscape here, and here is more flat land that's better suited for agriculture. Let's just make our area of interest, and we can see what's mapped here. So once you define your area of interest, you go to your soil map tab. You can see my hand here is going to the soil map. Okay, I'm a little familiar with this soil, the Clear Lake series. Okay, all right, so here's your map. Your map would display here, which is soil map unit delineations. That's what these lines are, delineating the different map units on the aerial photography. And here is your legend of what different soils are there. So I see this CG soil. I'll click on that, and we'll find out, what is this soil all about? Well, it's a pretty deep soil. You can see it goes to at least 60 inches. It's clay. It's just straight up clay all the way down. And well, that's what the soil looks like. If you can just visualize that. I know the color isn't here, but it is showing you the texture. And here's some properties: poorly drained, has a high runoff. So if you have a soil that's already wet, it's like a glass that's full of water. You really can't put more water in it. It's already wet.